today is we rebranded the show to show up wider for to select a wider audience, and so the show is being called now SNC's WWE Talk, where we talk all about WWE and what went on in the week in WWE. Now we're supposed to cover Raw, NXT, and SmackDown every week, so we're just going to discuss what happened in those three shows every week and what our opinions are. WrestleMania is 2 weeks away on Saturday, April 6th, I believe. And things are shaping up. The card's pretty much set. And yeah, so that's what's going on. So, what do you think? Cheese, how have you been?
I've been doing good, man. Been doing good. I don't know. It seems like the build to WrestleMania is kind of like I don't know, slowed down a little bit. It seems like Cody uh, and like the Bloodline every week. It's like kind of the same stuff where they just go to the ring and they kind of talk. That's really it just seems like it's a lot of just verbal sparring where they're not really, beating everybody up. Like I didn't see last night's show, but I just saw like the highlight where, you know, Cody showed up and then Roman was there and then Solo showed up and one of the evil Uso brothers showed up and then, Cody smiled and then Seth Rollins and the good Uso showed up. So it's just kind of like that's kind of that part of it's kind of boring me about the build to it. Um, But so yeah, what about you? What do you think about the build to WrestleMania?
I think the build is pretty much set. I mean, you can't have Roman Reigns more over than he is, and I mean, The Rock is over too, and I mean, Cody's over, Seth is over. I mean, in many ways, and let's not sound vulgar here, or let's make it not make it sound vaguely sexual. Well, it's like when you're in love with, or when you want to sleep with a really beautiful woman, so, eventually get the woman in bed, then, you're doing the deed, and finally, you're like, oh man, I'm here with this beautiful woman, and, you're getting on with it. And then finally at WrestleMania, that's the grand climax. So, I mean, but it goes slow, like it does with a beautiful woman, because a beautiful woman's not going to give it up to you right away. She's going to take time to do it because, she got so many options. And I mean, it's like, these guys, we know they're all studs in the ring. We know they're all the most over guys in wrestling. I mean, I don't know how many times you can get them out there and not have them hit each other or whatever. So until the fans are gonna react, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure they want to see Cody and Roman come to blows. And I think that by the time SmackDown on that Friday rolls around before WrestleMania, there's going to be some physical confrontation between them, because so far they've just been dancing around each other. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I mean that's what I think too. Like I don't know if they've I mean you want to have a long build, but I don't know if they've made it like too long. So like it's kind of like the same, like, oh yeah, we saw this last week. Like, oh yeah, they're they're talking bad about each other. Oh yeah, this happened last week. If they're gonna like the next couple weeks, if it's just gonna get stale because it's gonna be like, oh yeah, like we've already seen this segment, like twice, three times over the past month and a half.
Yeah,
Um,
and eventually they're going to come to blows. I mean, probably by yeah, like I told you last Saturday, and I'm sure Cody's going to go up against The Rock. He's going to hit Roman a few times. Seth is going to do the same thing, but they've been teasing how The Rock and Cody, I mean, how The Rock and Seth might turn on Cody or something, like, they might turn on the respective partners. And I
oh,
definitely think that by night two runs around, The Rock is going to turn on Roman Reigns, because I think they're going to set up that match for WrestleMania 41. But I think that Seth might turn on Cody as well to be the first challenger for his Universal title, because I definitely think Drew is going to take that title away from Seth. I mean, Drew is just, he's just salivating to take that title away from Seth. And
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
man. I mean, they're planting seeds already for the future, which is always good about WWE. And so far, the writing's been good, and I like the way they've been using all the talent, even the mediocre talent. So I think it's getting better. I mean, overall, I think Triple is settling into his groove, and the writing's been a lot better. What do you
Now,
think?
if Dean Ambrose like came back at WrestleMania, um, and that's where like Seth, turns on Cody, and Roman turns on The Rock, because Dean Ambrose shows up, and they do like a Shield, kind of version 2. Would you? Would that be something you'd be excited about, or would you be kind of like, man, like this sucks, like this isn't like they should let like Cody finish the story, like, or would the disappointment of Cody not finishing the story be would the excitement about Dean Ambrose being back be more powerful than the disappointment of Cody not finishing the story?
No, I don't know. I haven't heard any rumors about Dean Ambrose leaving AEW. Probably did. I don't know, but there's just been so many exits from AEW about a month ago. I mean, they say MJF is going to show up and stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot of rumors surrounding WrestleMania. But I mean, I think that Dean Ambrose would take away from the overall main event. I think they should save Dean Ambrose for like the next night or something. I think they should just like you said before, they should let Dustin interfere in the match. They should let Michelle interfere in the match. Brandy, everybody gets involved, making it the biggest main event in WrestleMania history. And I think that by the time Roman is getting ready to pin Cody, I mean something happens, and he loses the title, and finally Cody gets his moment, and then the Cody era begins. And but personally, I don't think Cody's going to be a strong champion. So by the time SummerSlam rolls around, it's probably his momentum's probably be gone. Because with Cody, it's always a chase. It's always the chase. I don't think people are going to want him long term as champion. I think they're going to like the fact that he chases the title, but I don't think they're going to like the fact when he is champion, because to them he's I think he's just too vanilla. Personally. I know he's the one who kisses all the babies and is a hero to the kids, but I just think he's too vanilla to carry the company for a long time. He's no John Cena. John Cena had a personality, but Cody is just a crybaby who cries for every little thing. And I mean, he's just, I don't know, man. I mean, I can't wait until Gunther goes up to the main event, probably starts challenging Cody and Drew, because one day Gunther's going to win that title, and then it's going to be Gunther and Braun Breaker on top eventually. So we're just going to see the young lions soon. But right now, I mean, Cody's 37, so this is his final hurrah in the company. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I think he could carry the company for a little while. I don't know if he's a generational star like Cena or The Rock, but I think it probably I think it'd probably be more like along the lines of like a Triple H champion, where yeah, they can carry the title for a while. They're not going to be like amazing like Stone Cold or Hogan, but they'll be able to to carry it for a while.
You
Because
know
yeah,
why I see Cody Rhodes is the embodiment of Randy Savage type style champion, who is a little bit less popular than the big guy. So I mean, he's probably going to hold the title a few months, and he's going to drop the strap at SummerSlam. So I mean, or maybe Survivor Series, but I just don't see him coming into WrestleMania next year as world champion. I think he's gonna have I think someone like Gunther's gonna win the title eventually from him, and he's not gonna win. He's not gonna hold the title for a full year. And I mean, I don't know. It depends what they want from him, but I just don't think he's strong enough.
now would you prefer do you like longer title reigns, or would you rather have titles like switch off every 6 7 months?
I like long title reigns. I like the fact that we're going back to like the 80s. I want dominant champions. But the thing is, I know that not everybody's a dominant champion. But I mean, when you look at it, the champions we have right now are great. They're dominant. I mean, I don't see the tag team champions as dominant like Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So I don't mind if they lose the titles. I don't see the women's tag team champions, the Kabuki Warriors, as dominant. I don't mind if they lose the titles. I see Rhea Ripley as a dominant women's Raw Women's champion. I think she should retain the title. But then you have Io Sky, who definitely can lose the title to Bailey. Then I don't know the Logan Paul. He can. I don't know who's gonna fight at WrestleMania, but he can just hold on to that like a little trophy. And Gunther, he's the Intercontinental Champion. We know he's been set up to lose the title because, I mean, it's time for him to lose the title. But I definitely think that a dominant world champion like Roman Reigns, he has to lose the title now because people are just getting long in the tooth. He's held the title for almost 4 years. He's almost surpassed Hogan's record. I think it's time for him to lose the title, especially to a very over babyface like Cody Rhodes. But to answer your question, yes, I do like long title reigns. What about you?
I don't I don't like him so much. It just gets, for me, it just kind of gets boring. Like I'm like the Roman Reigns is, for me is the most irrelevant title in the entire world of wrestling, because he just doesn't defend it. He just it's just like, oh yeah, here, give it to him, because
When
he's
sorry,
the
bro,
rock.
to interrupt, but when I was a kid, and just going back to nostalgia things, do you not like long title reigns because of the Hogan thing, or is it just a personal thing that you've grown up, or what's your issue with long title reigns?
Well, I guess it depends on like how often the dude defends the title. But I don't know. Like I would rather, like I would rather not know. Like going into an event, I would rather not know. I would rather, you know, have a legitimate, like, oh my god, like who's gonna win? Like every match, every time they defend the title, I would rather, be like, oh my gosh, like like this, the challenger could, possibly beat, could possibly beat the champion. Um,
So really, your issues with the writing, then your issues like with the writing of the match and the general layout of the match. I do remember that when Hogan was champion, you know how many times he defended the title over the 3 years he was champion?
I do not.
450 title defenses. You know how many times Roman Reigns has defended the title in the 3 years he's been champion?
Like 57 or something like that.
Yep,
Like
yep, you're right, around 60.
it's like
So basically, Roman Reigns is one of the laziest defending champions ever. And I mean, Hogan was just there every single night defending the title.
yeah.
And I mean, Roman just does not do that. So I think a lot of people are very angry with Roman about that. Even Brock Lesnar defends the title more than Roman Reigns. And I mean, Brock Lesnar's a part time athlete and he's like $5 million every time he sets in the ring. So I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, well, yeah. So I mean, Roman Reigns is just he gets special treatment because I guess he's just so over and makes so much money for them. But I don't think he definitely. I think he definitely needs to defend the title. I mean, Cody's been saved a little bit, so when he does win the title, he's going to be the world champion and he's going to defend it more. But we definitely need a workhorse champion like Seth Rollins defending the Universal title. And I mean, Drew's going to be a workhorse champion for the world title. And I mean, Cody, he's going to defend the Universal title more often than not because Roman Reigns, remember that he has his type of leukemia, so he has to rest sometimes and probably just can't wrestle as much as he should.
Yeah. Reigns. Hey, like what do you think about like Ilya Dragunov? Like I believe that you like him. But do you think he's like the size he is, the stature he is? Do you think like the like right now he is maxed out, like this is as high as he's ever gonna go being the NXT world champion? Or do you think that he could like transcend into like WWE, where guys of his size, for the most part, unless you're Rey Mysterio Jr., really kind of don't, break over to that next level?
I think he'd be great on the main roster and he'd get over. I mean, I think you got a guy like what are the guys called? The Catch Crew, what are their names?
No quarter,
The
no
catch, the
quarter
no
catch.
quarter catch crew. You got Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I think they're slowly getting over on the main roster. And look at the size of those guys, especially Tyler Bate. I mean, Tyler Bate looks like a featherweight in the UFC. Not even a featherweight. I mean, he looks like a flyweight in the UFC. I don't know how often you watch UFC, but I'm a UFC fan as well. And the flyweights are these tiny guys who are like 5'3", weigh like 130 pounds. And I mean, it's crazy. Tyler Bate looks like one of those, and he's on the main roster. And I mean, Ilya Dragunov is just amazing. So I mean, I think that Ilya Dragunov should be on the main roster. I would put him on Raw myself. Actually, SmackDown. I put him on SmackDown. And once they get the U.S. title off of Logan Paul transcends to the next level. I'd have him feuding with somebody like it'd be a good match with the Dragon. I'd have him feuding with somebody like Grayson Waller, A-Town Down, and stuff like that for the U.S. title. And then I'd put the U.S. title in the Dragunov. I mean, yeah, just for a short run. Let them have some sort of career on the main roster. They got so much talent that's good that these guys are, I mean, Ilya Dragunov is a bona fide NXT champion. It was a good idea to put the title on him. So I think that when he transcends to the main roster, they should definitely put the title on him, some kind of title. I mean,
What
maybe not the Intercontinental title, but yeah, U.S. title I think is pretty perfect for him.
what do you think the fans would buy him, like, feuding with a Randy Orton, and being able to, like, hold his own versus a dude like Randy Orton or like Kevin Owens or, like, like the bigger type competitors, Bobby Lashley? Or do you think that kind of make him stick with kind of like the smaller guys? And
I don't.
can and do you think he could really get over if he wasn't, fighting, the big guys?
It's the Shawn Michaels syndrome, bro. You have to have the charisma of Shawn Michaels to even go up against those guys. You have to be over enough with the fans, and you have to have charisma like Shawn Michaels to go up against those guys. You remember the charisma and the in-ring ability Shawn Michaels had, so
Yeah,
they
yeah,
put him up against everybody and anybody, and so it's like he was believable in every match. So if Ilya Dragunov is over enough with the fans, and they put him up against those guys, he'd be believable in every match. I just don't think Ilya Dragunov is ever going to have the mainstream appeal to be a babyface superstar like Shawn Michaels did.
yeah,
So I mean, his whole gimmick is a little bougie. You know that word bougie that people use. It's a
yeah,
little bourgeois. That's where the word comes from, the French word. It's a little bougie. It's like he comes out in that robe. The robe looks nice. He's got that great haircut. He's got a good look to him. But he comes out to classical music. He appeals to like a pure wrestling fans type of wrestler. He's more of a technician and a pure wrestler. So I mean, he's not going to appeal to everybody. Shawn Michaels, he had one of the best gimmicks of all time. He comes off like a Chippendales model and a male stripper. I mean, every guy wants to do that. You see how the girls reacted to him. They're practically raping him in the ring. So I mean, it's like so. I mean, Dragon isn't just like that. He's just not like that. So I mean, he's not built like that. So I don't think he's ever going to get over like that. But I think eventually, if they put him up against the right opponent, who's the U.S. champion, he can win the U.S. title. I think that's the highest he's ever going to get in the WWE.
yeah. Now with Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker having the tag titles in NXT, do you expect them? Do you think they're going to drop them at the was it Road Judgment Day or Roadblock or NX whatever one's coming up before
I
WrestleMania?
think they're gonna drop them, and Braun. He's already been announced for the SmackDown main roster, so I think they're gonna drop them. And Baron Corbin's gonna stay on NXT, and Braun's gonna move to SmackDown. So I think they're definitely gonna drop them. I've seen a little bit of you in NXT over the past few weeks. To be honest with you, I watched the first hour of SmackDown yesterday, and I watched all of Raw yesterday. I mean, I actually did watch them yesterday. but I didn't see NXT, so I really don't know what's going on, except for the excerpts I see on YouTube. But yeah, I think they're gonna drop the titles. I mean, Braun, he's just done everything he can in NXT, and it's time for him to move to the main roster. Baron Corbin just did not have it anymore. He never did have it, so he's gonna remain in NXT. And guys like the Good Brothers, they're in NXT as well because they're busts on the main roster. So
Yeah,
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 I mean, I would actually drop into the Good Brothers. Remember another hot NXT tag team. Actually, I think the Good Brothers are great on NXT, and they should have a run as NXT World Titles, World Champions. So
yeah. Right on. Now with Carmelo Hayes, do you think Carmelo Hayes takes the clean loss to Trick Williams, and then like a lot of the times they'll have like the NXT superstar like kind of lose their big feud, and then they just go up to the Raw. Do you think that's? Do you think after first, do you think Carmelo's going to lose to Trick, and then if he does lose, do you think he just goes to the main roster after that?
yeah, the issue with NXT is NXT seems a separate entity than WWE, and it's our farm league. So the wins and losses there don't matter as according to the main roster. So yeah, I think he's gonna lose clean to Carmelo Hay to Trick Williams, and then yeah, he's just gonna move to the main roster clean, and he starts his career there. Eventually, Trick Williams will go to the main roster too, and every budding NXT superstar they have is eventually gonna make their way to the main roster. So yeah, I think that's just gonna happen.
Right on. Um, all right, cool. What
Yeah.
else you
So,
got?
huh? Well, what do you think about Rhea Ripley? Just this last issue, you think she's gonna drop the title?
I don't know, like, 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 I'm a, I don't think she should. Like I know she's had it for a while, and she's a dominant champion. So I think she should hold it. I think she should keep it. The fans dig her. But for whatever reason, the WWE is really invested into Becky Lynch. For whatever reason, is unbelievable as the five. How tall is she? 5'6". How much she weigh? Like 125, 130 pounds. Like she's
Yeah, she's small.
for whatever reason, they push, that she that she is an unstoppable force in the ring. Which, like I've, you know, I just don't get that, part of it. If they, you know, they book her like, or to me, it seems like they book her like she's a much like physically like she's much bigger. Like they book her just to be like super strong, and she could beat up. She
She's
beat up
she's
all.
like she's like a little Yorkie or something that barks a lot, but is being booked like a pit bull.
Yes, yeah. They had her, like what, they have her beat up all three when it was Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, and Bailey. Like they had Becky Lynch beat up all three of them at the same time, and I'm like, come on, man. Like she's, she might be bigger than Io Sky, but other than that, the other two are bigger than she is. Like it's ridiculous. Um, so that's what kind of like I don't know, like it scares me. But that's like of thinking that WWE would for what maybe it's because they really dig Seth Rollins, and they don't want to piss him off, so they keep pushing Becky. But I don't know, who knows.
Well, it's like just to make this brief because I think we only got a few minutes left, maybe one or two. I think it's the same issue they had with booking Becky to win the last man standing match on Raw against Nia Jax. 'Cause Nia Jax is such a much bigger opponent, and I mean that's the only way she's going to be believably be able to defeat her. So that's exactly what happened. Becky Lynch can't defeat larger opponents, so she's got to find ways to work around that, and that's what WWE tries to do with Becky Lynch. And I definitely think she does get preferential treatment because not only is she over, but also she's Seth Rollins' wife, and they're one of the main power couples in WWE. So I mean, That's why.
But I do think it's cute because sometimes on the little feed I'll see, like I just saw a picture of Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, and their kid like at Disneyland, and
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. So like when I see, as much as like I the character of of the man Becky Lynch, when like, oh man, like I don't, that's ridiculous, it's horrible. When I
Oh,
see like
okay.
the little uh you know cute things, of their real life, I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, man, that's just going on. Well, brother, it's almost the 26 marks. Any closing thoughts?
Um, no, not really. I mean, just the next couple weeks. Easter is next week, next Sunday. So he is risen. He is risen indeed.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he is risen. That's true. Got to go to church. Gonna
that's
go to
right.
our church, and then I'm gonna go to my mom's church, the Catholic church. So
Yeah, yeah. Easter. Not to get too religious, but it's just it's probably my favorite. Kind of like Bible, in the Christian in the world of Christianity, favorite Bible story. Where they put Jesus on the cross and he died for our sins. Forgive them, Father, for they not know what they not not know what they do. Um, and then they took him down and they put him in uh the big tomb, and they put the rock in front of it, and then on Sunday, the two Marys came in, but the rock had been moved out, and what, Jesus had turned into a bunny, and he hopped out, and he had a basket, and he gave him some candy, and he gave him some eggs, and he hopped into the town, and filled up Easter baskets. I think that
yeah, yeah. I mean, not to get this show religious because that's not the point of our show. But we're both Christians. We're both Mormons. So I mean, I'm definitely going to be at church. I mean, everybody usually shows up for church. All the people. I know all the people in my congregation, and they show up for church usually that day. And when I go to Catholic church, it's packed to the rafters. The only day in the calendar is back to the rafters. So I mean, yeah,
every other
go to
week.
church. Take your kids and go to church and worship the Lord, man. Because I mean, we ain't got that much time left according to Scripture. So I mean, just remember, we're both Christians, and even though we sin, we're huge sinners.
Right.
Remember our vows. So
Live your life right. That's right.
well, in the name of Jesus Christ, bro. Have a good week, bro. Okay.
Well, brother, you too, man. Late.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.